Welcome to the fall of Amy Roloff. What if everything you've been told about the sale of Roloff Farms was never the truth? What if the family feud, the public pricing debates, and even the move to Washington were all part of a carefully crafted illusion? A smokescreen hiding something far darker and more personal, playing out quietly behind those famous wooden gates. For months, we followed the story TLC wanted you to see. But tonight, that story changes. According to disturbing new information from sources close to the Roloff family and the production team itself, a massive secret has been buried under the surface. One that may explain every strange decision, every emotional outburst, and every mysterious silence we've witnessed this year. That secret allegedly triggered a private emergency family meeting just days ago. One so tense that insiders say it nearly tore the Roloff legacy apart. The $4 million price tag, that was never the real issue. The real story is what Matt Roloff is terrified of losing, and it's not just the farm. This is a story you won't see on TV, and probably one the network hopes you never hear. The details we've uncovered are shocking, emotional, and could completely reshape everything you thought you knew about this family. Before we dive in, hit that like button if you believe there's more to this story than meets the eye. And subscribe to Motion 24, because what's coming next is going to change everything. Okay, let's get right to the point. Late last Tuesday night, when the production crew had left for the day and the cameras were dark, our story started. Several vehicles were observed approaching the main farmhouse's lengthy driveway. According to an insider, who has been involved in the farm's activities for more than 10 years and has opted to stay nameless in order to safeguard their livelihood. This was no informal family gathering. They described this as a crisis summit. Amy Roloff, her husband Chris Merrick, Karen Chandler, and Matt Roloff were reportedly present at this conference. Who was called in from a distance, however, is more telling. According to our source, Zach and Jeremy were both connected to a conference call via speakerphone. This was an intervention, not a social call. We have witnessed the divisions within this family for years. Arguments, hurt sentiments, and passive-aggressive social media posts have all been witnessed. However, this level of secrecy has never before brought together all the important stakeholders. What then was the crisis? What caused the unexpected off-the-books meeting? According to our insider, the only terrifying item on the agenda was the actual financial situation of Roloff Farms and, consequently, Matt Roloff. According to the official story, Matt is a prosperous author, TV personality, and businessman in the agricultural industry. However, the report that we have been given presents a very different picture. It implies that Matt Roloff is dealing with a serious liquidity dilemma, a cash flow issue so bad that he is supposedly in danger of going bankrupt. According to the informant, the room had a funereal mood. According to reports, Matt, who is typically the self-assured patriarch, was upset and pale. Despite her best efforts to appear brave, Karen was clearly shaken. The most telling, though, was Amy's response. Our source claims that Amy stated something along the lines of, "I warned you this would happen, Nat," overhearing a portion of the conversation via a slightly open door. "For years, I told you." It seems that Chris Merrick, the practical outsider, was there to serve as an impartial third party and try to explain the harsh financial facts to the family without the burden of decades of emotional baggage. Selling the land to the children was no longer the purpose of this gathering. This was to prevent the bank from seizing the farm. Matt's financial web was unraveled by the facade of success. How then could this have occurred? How could the pumpkin season guru, Matt Roloff, be in such bad shape? We must look past the enticing TV edits and consider the harsh, icy numbers in order to comprehend this. Our hypothesis is that Matt has been asset-rich but financially poor for years, based on information from a number of sources, including a local Hillsborough business friend who has dealt with the farm. Let's dissect it. First, the ongoing growth. the intricate attractions, the careful upkeep, and, above all, the enormous new dream house he started constructing for Karen and himself. Permitting materials, labor, and construction costs have increased dramatically across the country. According to our source, the cost of that house probably increased well beyond Matt's original estimations. While his income streams were not increasing at the same pace, he was investing money in a huge illiquid asset, a mansion that he couldn't sell easily. The farm itself's enormous overhead comes in second. In Washington County, Oregon, property taxes are high. For a company like Roloff Farms that interacts with the public, insurance is quite expensive. Then there is the ongoing maintenance of buildings and equipment, as well as the payroll for employees. For 1 month each year, pumpkin season offers a significant financial boost. However, the farm is a financial burden for the remaining 11 months. It is an organization that spends money continuously. The company associate with whom we spoke was straightforward. Though he is a dreamer, Matt is an exceptionally talented maker. He constructs first, then inquires about how to pay for it afterwards. The TLC money served as his safety net for years. However, that safety net appears to be strained when the children start to go off and the show's future is constantly in doubt. This leads us to the property's unsuccessful sale of the North Side. The $4 million asking price was more than just a lofty estimate. Our hypothesis was that it was a desperate number. Matt needed that money, not simply wanted it. He required it to pay off debt accrued from years of ambitious projects, cover cost overruns on his new home, and build a retirement fund for himself and Karen. When he was obliged to remove the listing and switch to a rental model because no buyer showed up, it was a disastrous failure rather than a calculated business move. Although useful, the rental income pales in comparison to the one-time payment he was hoping for. We think that this is what led to the emergency family meeting and the current crisis. The bills were due, and the dream had died. The price was never the only factor in Zach's decision to leave. Let's take another look at the most agonizing part of this story, Matt and Zach's falling out. This was depicted in the show as a straightforward, if tearful, collapse in price talks. Zach believed that his father was putting money above legacy. Matt believed his son was entitled and didn't see the worth of his creation. But what if it was only the tale on the surface? According to our exclusive theory, which is backed up by rumors from production insiders, Zach left for a far more practical and damaging reason. Ahead of the ship, he could see the financial iceberg. Consider it. Zach has developed into a responsible husband and father of 3 under Tori's tutelage. He needs to safeguard his own family, pay his own bills, and pay his own mortgage. Instead of focusing only on the farm's sentimental worth when he and Tori entered into discussions with his father, they would have insisted on seeing the books, the balance sheets, the debt load, and the profit and loss accounts. What if Zach wisely realized the farm's really fragile financial situation during that process, or if Matt was compelled to disclose it? What if Zach understood that, in addition to being asked to purchase a plot of land, he was also being asked to inherit a substantial debt load and a business model that was inherently precarious without the steady stream of TLC funding? Their notorious argument is entirely reframed by this notion. The price tag may not have been the only thing that infuriated Zach. It might have been a son's rage at seeing his father trying to blame him and his young family for a financial ticking time bomb. It takes on a whole new, terrifying meaning when someone says, "You're not creating a legacy, you're creating a job." He was referring to more than simply the physical work. He was discussing the debilitating financial strain of maintaining the farm's viability. Another layer is added by our production close source. According to them, Matt and Zach's last heated exchange was much worse than what was broadcast. According to the source, there were allegations of financial mismanagement. With his vanity projects, Zach essentially told his father that he was ruining the farm and that he wouldn't be the one to save him. According to this perspective, Zach and Tori's relocation to Washington was a planned financial escape as well as an emotional one. They were moving their family outside of what they believed to be an inevitable collapse's blast radius. They were safeguarding their future, not deserting the family. The "I told you so" moment regarding Amy and Chris' position. This leads us to the main player in this purported crisis meeting, Amy Roloff. For many years, Amy was frequently presented on the show as Matt's cautious, risk-averse opposite of his ambitious, extravagant personality. Their financial disputes were a common occurrence. It appears that her caution was prophetic rather than pessimism. It was presented as the end of an era when Amy sold Matt her portion of the farm in that multi-million-dollar buyout. It was the last, agonizing step she took to let go of her past. However, according to our theory, it was also the best financial choice she had ever made. She cashed out before the bubble crashed, not merely by selling a property. No one knew the actual figures better than Amy. She was aware of Matt's aspirations price. She was aware of the year-round costs and the extremely narrow margins of pumpkin season. She secured her personal future with Chris and released herself from the farm's financial predicament by pressing the buyout and extracting her share in liquid cash. She's no longer a business partner at this covert gathering. She is a grandmother, a co-parent, and a concerned bystander who is witnessing her worst financial anxieties for her ex-husband materialize. She and Chris were there for more reasons than just emotional support. We will discuss our sources' belief that Matt made a specific, urgent request for them shortly. Chris Merrick plays an important part in this. Chris is the most knowledgeable member of the family when it comes to asset valuation, debt-to-income ratios, and market realities because he is a successful real estate agent. He is the room's objective expert. Chris is probably there with the information and expertise to support Amy when she raises her worries. The emotional past of the family doesn't motivate him. His eyes are on the bottom line. And according to our reports, what he observes is really concerning. Chris carefully explained, "Here are the 5 ways this could lead to bankruptcy," rather than Amy simply saying, "I told you so." The delayed wedding and the Karen factor. And what about Karen Chandler, the woman who was meant to become Mrs. Roloff, spending her golden years in their ideal home that was custom built for them and Matt? Why they haven't decided on a wedding date has been a question for months. The construction of the house and family strife have been the public justifications. However, our analysis indicates that the true cause is much more significant. This financial turmoil has put the wedding on indefinite hold. A wedding is costly, particularly the kind of lavish event one might anticipate from a television personality. Our view is that the ideal house, which was meant to be their marital paradise, is now a financial burden around Matt's neck. Karen linked her future stability to Matt's when she quit her long-standing position as the farm manager to start a life with him. She now faces a future that appears to be far less secure than she had anticipated. Let's be clear. Though hypothetical, this makes the connections. Could their ongoing conflict stem more from the extreme stress of an impending financial catastrophe than from wedding preparations? The discussions that take place behind closed doors are only conceivable. The nightmare of growing debt has supplanted the dream of a carefree retirement. Over the past few months, Karen's behavior has clearly changed, according to our source close to the farm operations. According to the source, she used to be vivacious and always involved. She now appears aloof and anxious. She used to be more present on the farm, but now she's not. She seems to be making an effort to put the situation behind her. This is to recognize the human truth of the circumstance, not to cast doubt on her love for Matt. Uncertainty now casts a shadow on the prospect of a safe and contented future with Matt. According to reports, the stress is destroying the fundamental foundation of their relationship, and the dream is becoming a financial burden. The feasibility of their entire future together was at the center of the emergency meeting, not just the farm. Possibly Karen is reconsidering, maybe not about the man, but about the supposed financial disaster he caused. Business is no longer the only aspect of the problem. It has taken on a very personal dimension, endangering Matt's closest connections and possibly bringing his meticulously planned last chapter to a head. Here we are then. According to reports, patriarch Matt Roloff is in a tight spot and his financial empire is collapsing. Zach and Jeremy, his estranged sons, are aware of the situation but are unable or unwilling to assist. Amy, his ex-wife, and Chris, her new husband, are called in as anxious advisors to a catastrophe they foresaw. And his fiancée, Karen, is witnessing their ideal future turn into a stress-filled nightmare filled with debt. Reconciliation was not the purpose of this covert rendezvous. It was a desperate move. In a last-ditch attempt to save himself on the farm, our insider claims that Matt made one last, startling suggestion during that call. An offer so drastic that it would either bring the family back together or eternally break it up. What was that offer? And how does it affect Roloff Farms going forward? These exclusive details are more startling than anything we've covered thus far. Everything you believed to be true about this family would be altered by a nuclear choice. We took you inside the private, off-camera crisis meeting that nearly destroyed the Roloff family. We covered the shocking news of Matt Roloff's precarious financial condition, a cash flow situation so bad that the farm as a whole could be destroyed. We speculated that Amy's buyout was the most astute thing she had ever done, and that Zach's departure was motivated by more than simply money. It was also an attempt to get out of a financially collapsing ship. However, we left you on a suspenseful note. In a last desperate attempt to save his legacy, Matt was on the verge of making a startling proposal to his estranged family. The contents of this proposition have been laid out by our source, who was aware of the consequences of this meeting. To be honest, it is a move of such astounding chutzpah that it explains everything. The family as a whole has been displaying tension, quiet, and fear. The Roloff family holdings plan was Matt's last move. What was the nuclear alternative, then? Our informant claims that Matt didn't just request a loan. It would have been too easy and tidy. Matt had a much more complex and, in many respects, more subtle plan. He allegedly suggested that Roloff Farms' existing ownership structure be completely dissolved and that a new company, Roloff Family Holdings, be established as a legitimate, legally binding family organization. This is how it would operate. As CEO and patriarch, Matt would continue to own a majority stake, perhaps 50% of the shares, but the family would be the only ones able to purchase the remaining 49%. This was neither an offer of inheritance or a gift. This was a request for capital. He was requesting that his kids and, even more startlingly, his ex-wife and her new husband repurchase the farm. They all somehow managed to flee from the very farm they owned. Our insiders said the figures under discussion were astounding. A couple $100,000 wasn't what Matt needed to get by. He sought a significant infusion of funds, estimated to be between $2 and $2.5 million. In addition to settling the existing obligations from his construction projects, this money would be utilized to promptly pay off high-interest private loans and establish a viable operating budget for the farm for the following 5 years. Matt was essentially pleading with his family to pay for his rescue. He was using what remained of him, the emotional and sentimental appeal of the Roloff legacy, to get out of a financial bind that he had caused for himself. He was requesting that Amy jeopardize the retirement she had achieved through selling to him. He was requesting that Zach and Tori take the money they were using to establish a safe and secure life for themselves in Washington. He was posing the question to Jeremy and Audrey, who are occupied with creating their own company and purchasing multi-million-dollar homes, to sell their possessions and put the money back into his dream. The plan was a financial trap that was presented as a show of solidarity. Their financial fates would once more be tied to his and the farm's precarious business model if they responded in the affirmative. Their investment would be entirely dependent on Matt's choices, the same choices that first caused this issue, and they would be reduced to minority shareholders with no actual influence. However, they would be the ones to let Roloff Farms to perish if they refused. They would be the kids who wouldn't help preserve their dad's legacy. The goal of the checkmate move was to corner them both financially and emotionally, and the response was, as you might expect, explosive. The family's response to the bombshell is the deciding factor. Our source claims that the speakerphone provided the initial response. Zach was the one. According to reports, his rejection was more than a mere no. It was characterized as an outpouring of unadulterated rage. Keep in mind that Zach has previously gone through the ringer in order to negotiate the farm. He was aware of the truth because he had seen the books. According to our insider, Zach said something like absolutely not, as his voice was trembling with rage. You will not turn your issue into my family's issue. We're finished. I warned you that this would occur, and I won't risk my kids' futures to save you from your errors. This was not just a business rejection. It was a condemnation of the individual. It was the last financial cord to be severed. Zach was setting a boundary for his family as a whole, not just for himself. He was supporting our hypothesis. He was aware of the magnitude of the financial mishandling and did not wish to be involved. Zach's reaction made the already heated discourse much more icy. As usual, Jeremy's response was said to be more measured, just as forceful. Audrey and Jeremy are highly aware of their own brand. They project an image of being financially astute, living intentionally, and leaving a lasting legacy. It would be disastrous for their reputation if they were tied to a failed family firm. According to the insider, Jeremy waited for Zach to finish before speaking in a composed manner that did not allow for compromise. According to reports, he clarified that their funds were invested in their own projects, new farm, books, and other economic endeavors. He uses business jargon to explain the denial, mentioning risk management and portfolio diversification. However, the message remained the same. No was the response. He was putting the dream of his own family ahead of his father's faltering one. Zach and Jeremy were in perfect public alignment for the first time in years. They had left. The first to formally leave the sinking ship were the two sons Matt had always dreamed would inherit the land. With the sons gone, Amy became the center of attention in that room. At this point, the tragedy of the situation practically takes on Shakespearean proportions. Throughout their marriage, Amy had been the one most negatively impacted by Matt's financial risks. It was she who was ultimately set free. In order to save the man who, in her opinion, was responsible for a great deal of the fire, she was now being urged to jump back into it. A protracted, agonizing silence was described by our source. According to reports, Amy simply gazed at Matt with 10 years of annoyance, rage, and a glimmer of lingering sympathy. She didn't shout or give lectures. She just shook her head and said, "Matt, I can't. According to the insider, I simply can no longer do this." However, the final rational blow to the proposal came from Chris Mack, the cool-headed real estate agent. According to reports, he got up, went to a notepad, and started to outline the situation's fundamental math for Matt. He was factual rather than sentimental. According to the source, Chris remarked, "With all due respect, Matt, you're asking for a rescue, not an investment. Without the revenue from the concert, the company has too much debt and no obvious route to profitability. This is something that no rational financial counselor would ever advise. I care about this family and I love Amy. However, I cannot morally allow her to invest all of her money in what is currently a burning structure." Chris not only agreed with Amy's choice, but he also provided professional authority to support it. He revealed Matt's idea for what it was, an act of extreme desperation rather than a business opportunity. Matt had nothing because of the Children's United Front and Amy and Chris' emotional and rational rejection. His desperate attempt had failed miserably. Now that the summit was over, he was all alone. High-interest private lenders are the secret causing the problem. It makes logical that Matt's suggestion was rejected by the entire family. However, it still falls short of explaining the extreme panic that led to such a dangerous gathering in the first place. The effects of a traditional bank mortgage or company loan are gradual and predictable. It felt strange. There seemed to be an impending deadline. This brings us to our report's most explosive section, a theory based on rumors circulating around the Hillsborough business community. According to the notion, Matt Roloff owes money to more than just conventional institutions. In his rush to maintain the land and finance the new home, we think he might have resorted to hard money lenders, also referred to as private lenders. In case you are unaware, these lenders offer cash more rapidly and with fewer inquiries than a bank, but at a ruthless price. Extremely aggressive payback conditions and exorbitant interest rates, where they can reach 15%, 20%, or even 25%. A hard money loan default differs from a bank mortgage default. The repercussions are immediate and terrible. They are able to grab assets remarkably quickly. If accurate, this hypothesis would account for everything. The desperation would make sense. It would clarify why Matt required so much money right now, rather than merely a reliable source of income. He was attempting to outrun a predator in addition to managing his debt. The farm's unsuccessful $4 million sale was more than simply a letdown. It served as a catalyst for a possible private loan default. The lender was now coming to collect what he had probably pledged as collateral, the entire farm. This gives his proposal to the family yet another level of betrayal. Without ever disclosing the full extent of the threat, he would be requesting that they use their clean money to settle his filthy, risky debt in addition to investing in his company. They would be taking on the danger instead of him. Given his experience in real estate, this would account for Chris Merrick's strong opposition to the scheme. When a borrower was in trouble with a non-traditional lender, he would be able to spot the warning indications. He could tell that the farm might have been jeopardized in addition to being in debt. Without even realizing the rifle was loaded, the family was being asked to step in front of a financial bullet rather than merely provide assistance. Jacob Roloff's part in the mayhem and the prophecy of the forgotten son. Despite not being present on the conference call, one son's presence hangs large over the entire high-stakes family drama. Jacob. Jacob has been the family's philosophical outlaw for many years. He publicly criticized the show, claiming it was unauthentic and staged. In addition to adopting a more straightforward, grounded lifestyle with his wife, Isabel, and their son, he has openly discussed the stresses of growing up on television. Although he could appear to be a supporting character, our hypothesis is that Jacob is crucial to comprehending Matt's present mental condition. We think Matt went to Jacob first, then to Zach and Jeremy with his desperate business proposition. For something else, like physical and moral assistance, rather than a large financial investment. Consider it. Matt has publicly praised Jacob's labor on the farm and highlighted his assistance with the pre-pumpkin season preparation on multiple occasions during the past year. This went beyond a father expressing pride in his son. We believe that Matt's strategy to entice Jacob back into the group was well thought out. He saw in Jacob an opportunity to leave a different legacy, one that was less commercialized and more true to the farm. In return for Jacob being his ally, he probably gave Jacob a big part of the company, possibly even control over the agricultural division. He required a son, any son, to support him. Since it wouldn't have been about money, Jacob's rejection would have been devastating. Principle would have been the reason for Jacob's refusal. According to a source who knows Jacob well, he would have thought it was a fool's errand to try to salvage the property in its current condition. According to Jacob, the issues facing the farm are spiritual rather than material. As a monument to the very artifice he has spent his adult life opposing, it has turned into a marketed tourist trap. For Matt, his rejection would have been a silent, philosophical stab to the core of who he was. Additionally, If you closely examine Jacob and Isabel's social media posts over the previous few months, you may notice what may be read as subtle commentary on this family turmoil, as well as ambiguous posts on the value of living truly and the meaninglessness of materialism, and the toxicity that comes with pursuing wealth. Are these merely thoughts on life in general? Or are they the well-crafted responses of a son who has already warned his father that his materialistic empire was based on sand and is now watching it fall apart? Since the incident occurred years ago in Jacob's perspective, he did not attend the emergency meeting, and he had already rendered his decision. The fallout and prospects of a collapsed empire. What is the current situation with the Roloff family? The proposition has been turned down, the lifelines have been severed, and the covert meeting is ended. Our reports indicate that the aftermath has been severe and quick. Matt Roloff has never been more alone. His friendship with Zach is broken and probably irreparable. He and Jeremy now have a transactional relationship. Chris has put him in his place, and Amy has rejected him. According to reports, Karen Chandler is at her wit's end, watching her ideal retirement fade into a haze of stress and debt. The dream home is now a monument to Matt's arrogance rather than a representation of their future. How much more she can handle is a mystery. Is she doubting that she will be with a man whose financial choices could leave them both penniless? There has also been a significant change in the sibling relationship. Ironically, this catastrophe might have brought the twins closer together than any family get-together over the previous 5 years. Our hypothesis is that Zach and Jeremy had a private discussion after the conference call, a discussion in which they probably agreed that each of them made the correct decision on their own. They got away. They are now bound together by a common awareness of Matt's peril rather than a love for the land. Lastly, how does this affect the show itself? Big universe for little people. Possibly the most important question is this one. We believe that the program is currently the sole thing keeping Matt Roloff alive. He wants the show to accomplish more than just convey his tale and gain him popularity. He must keep doing it in order to get paid. That TLC money is now the only thing keeping the lights on, not a bonus. TLC now has unheard of power as a result. Since they are aware that their star is financially dependent on them, they can demand more drama, access, and conflict. Not because of pre-written drama. The next season might be the most honest and unvarnished one we have ever witnessed, but because we'll be witnessing a man who is actually struggling to make ends meet. The show's biggest strength now is the suffering of the family. The Roloff empire used to represent the American ideal achieved in the face of adversity. The narrative of a patriarch who flew too close to the sun, whose dreams turned into obsessions, and who now faces the possibility of losing everything. The farm, his riches, and his family is now a cautionary tale. The question is no longer who will inherit the farm. The question is will there be anything left to inherit? The reports we've shared tonight are, of course, based on insider sources and our own exclusive analysis. The family will likely never confirm these details publicly. But the evidence is all around us in the strange social media posts, in the postponed wedding, in the sudden move to Washington, and in the deafening silence from the once thriving Roloff clan. The pieces fit. The story makes a terrifying kind of sense. What do you think? Do you believe this theory? Was Matt's proposal a desperate act of a loving father trying to unite his family, or the selfish move of a man trying to get his family to pay for his mistakes? Let us know your verdict in the comments below. More update. It's over for Matt Roloff and Karen Chandler. Matt Roloff and Karen Chandler have officially ended their relationship. As Matt faces this change, Amy Roloff took time to remember her 95-year-old father on a special day, sharing heartfelt memories. Meanwhile, Matt Roloff surprises fans with a new career move, while Amy reveals a shocking secret close to her heart. Both seem to be turning to new beginnings in their own ways. I will explain everything. Matt Roloff, star of Little People, Big World, and Karen Chandler, his fiancée of 2 years, broke up. The couple, who started dating 8 years ago, appear to be contentedly together. Although the LPBW couple's relationship is now over. Why? See the next section for further information. Matt Roloff and his family's development has been observed by little people, big world viewers. Among these was his 2016 divorce from Amy Roloff, his longtime wife. She hasn't looked back since she and Chris Marek moved on. Matt, on the other hand, fell in love with Karen Chandler a year after his divorce. In April 2023, they get engaged after dating since 2017. It appeared that they will get married in 2024, but that never happened. Fans of LPBW look to be taking their time, but some were curious about the reason for the delay. Though it was always refuted, rumors started to circulate that there was turmoil in paradise. On Tuesday, July 22, 2025, Matt regrettably posted a devastating update on social media. In addition to choosing to call off their engagement, he revealed that he and Karen had formally separated. As of right now, this was the best course of action for the marriage, Matt continued. After all, Matt is appreciative of the time he had with Karen, and they will continue to get along. He concluded by expressing gratitude to his supporters for their unwavering support and for being there for him. The LPBW star has currently disabled all comments, preventing fans and followers from leaving messages. Given that Matt and Karen posted a photo near the end of April 2025, this may surprise some people. His apparent happiness with her was praised by followers in the comments section. Others were perplexed, though, because they thought the pair was done. Viewers will probably never witness the breakup, but it is unclear when it happened. After 25 seasons, the cherished series appears to have not been renewed by TLC. Matt Roloff seems to be in a good frame of mind, despite the engagement being called off. All that matters, according to the little people, big world star, is the enjoyment that lies ahead. Karen Chandler hasn't shared anything on social media since 2021, according to her. As a result, she has not yet addressed the breakup, which could occur eventually. It's unfortunate that some LPBW fans have expressed in the past that they don't think the relationship was ever true. I truly feel their relationship is merely for show and profit and isn't real. Since there is no longer any possibility of the show continuing, it would be amusing if Karen moved out, but it's more likely that she's just spending more time in Arizona to be close to her parents. According to one, they didn't think Matt would break up with Karen until he had someone else to replace her. Who he ends up with and what he does will only become clear with time. Did you anticipate that the LPBW engagement will end, or are you surprised? Tell us what you think in the comments section below. Amy Roloff remembers 95-year-old dad on special day. The star of Little People, Big World, Amy Roloff, paid tribute to her father on social media. He is very important to her, as she has already expressed. She posts pictures and a heartfelt message on his birthday each year. She has now returned to Instagram to pay tribute to her father. Amy previously stated that January is her father's birthday, so what's going on? What was it that Amy told her fans? Learn more by reading on. The star of LPBW, Amy Roloff, posted a picture of herself and her father sipping drinks on Instagram. Her father is 95 years old, she revealed. The year 2024 was his 95th birthday. On this important day, she is paying tribute to him. For being 95, Amy's father looks fantastic. This Father's Day, she was raving about him. Amy shared her priceless photo and wished her father a happy Father's Day. 95 is your age. I can't wait to visit Michigan in late July and see you. I treasure every moment we spend together. You have my affection, Dad. Remember to seize every moment. When you can, pick them up. Fans immediately praised her for encouraging everyone to seize opportunities when they arise. Additionally, admirers remarked on her father's amazing appearance. To some, he even appears younger than his daughter. Amy's mother tragically passed away in 2019, The accolades Amy Roloff has given her father is not the first time. Another picture she posted of herself and her father strolling in the snow was taken in February 2023. Amy said, "Today I'm thinking about my dad. He is 94 and doing quite well, considering how much my father has influenced my life. Dad, I love you." His admirers started to believe it was his birthday. It wasn't, she explained. In actuality, it appeared that she was subtly criticizing her ex-husband Matt Roloff with the post. Amy answered that she was only considering how much he has done for her and her siblings when followers questioned her post. She remarked, "My brother, sisters, and I were all raised wonderfully by both of my parents. We try our hardest as parents, and we hope that our children understand how much we care, mature into decent adults, and make good dads when they have children of their own." This was interpreted by many as a jab at Matt for failing to support their son Zach during his medical crisis. Amy's love for her father is clear to see. LPBW Matt Roloff moves on with new surprise career. Many fans of Little People, Big World are curious about the cast members' current activities since the show was formally canceled and they are no longer filming for the network. Matt Roloff has been up to some interesting things since the show ended, according to his most recent posts. What do we currently know? Fans of Little People, Big World who are up to date on the latest news are aware that TLC discontinued the program after season 25 ended. This was practically the last nail in the coffin for the show, as Zach and Tori Roloff had already announced their departure. It turns out that only Matt Roloff wanted to continue filming the show, despite Zach and Tori leaving before an official cancellation was imminent. Season 25 was the last curtain call for a show that ran for years, despite efforts to keep it going. Many people are interested in the family members' activities now that Little People Big World has been officially canceled, especially because they are not required to accommodate a TLC filming schedule. Zach and Tori Roloff have been quite busy with their podcast, Raising Heights, with regard to Amy Roloff. She has provided her numerous Little People Big World fans with updates regarding her work as a substitute teacher. She has also been able to spend more time with Chris Marek and return to Michigan to visit her family. According to Matt Roloff's most recent updates, his thoughts are still on business. What is he doing now that there are no TLC cameras around? The U.S. Sun claims that Matt and Karen Chandler aren't just relaxing in retirement. As it is, he is still giving his all to his business, and it doesn't appear that he will be slowing down anytime soon. On behalf of Roloff Properties LLC, Matt Roloff submitted an annual report. He is doing this to maintain the validity of his business license. The license is specifically for real estate investments. Additionally, in order to maintain Matt Roloff LLC's existence, Matt Roloff submitted an annual report in October 2024. For example, speaking engagements, TV production events, and publications are included in this specific business, and that's on top of the arrivals and departures on Roloff farms. Fans of Little People, Big World will undoubtedly want to keep a watch on Matt Roloff's future plans, since it appears that he is leaving his options open. What do you believe Matt Roloff is working on? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. LPBW, Amy Roloff reveals shocking secret close to her heart. This Mother's Day, Amy Roloff, star of Little People, Big World, celebrated, although not all of the children were present. Living in Washington makes it difficult for Zach and Tori to be present at all major occasions. Mother's Day used to coincide with Jeremy and Zach's birthdays, but this year it didn't. But another person had a birthday as well. Jeremy and Zach Roloff's birthdays fell on Mother's Day 4 years prior. After exchanging birthday pleasantries, the LPBW grandmother took the opportunity to wish mothers and grandmothers a great day to celebrate their own accomplishments. The activities of everyone that day were unclear, but it's possible that they all got together at some point. Jackson Roloff, the granddaughter of Amy Roloff, celebrated his birthday early 3 years ago. It was Mother's Day and Jeremy and his father were together at the same time. More posts regarding Amy Roloff's deceased mother were made. It was unclear whether everyone gathered for a large celebration. This year, Matt Roloff wished everyone a happy Mother's Day, even those who are not yet mothers but aspire to be. His Instagram post also included Jacob Roloff and Karen Chandler, and he spent time with his mother, Peggy. Sitting at tables, they gave the impression that a large celebration day might have been organized. Amy revealed to fans a personal detail about her true feelings on Mother's Day. Fans were informed that she never imagined becoming a mother, much less having 4 children. A picture of the little people, Big World Star with Audrey and Jeremy was posted. She gave Jeremy and Jacob a picture of herself as well. As part of her lengthy caption, the TLC performer also mentioned Molly. According to Amy, Zach and Tori weren't present this year. Perhaps it was because Jackson's 7th birthday fell on Mother's Day. Furthermore, his party appeared to be in Washington. He received birthday greetings from numerous little people. Big World fans when Tori posted pictures of him. Neither Amy nor Matt were mentioned in her post. Amy Roloff wrote in the description for her TLC fans, "Mom's Day. It holds a particular place in my heart since I never imagined becoming a mother. What an honor to have, and I took it seriously. My 4 wonderful kids, and I am a grandmother. I am shown here with my bookends. Jacob and Jeremy, 2 wonderful young men. I spoke with Zach and Molly, spent time with Chris, my boys, and several of my grandchildren. Every day, I give thanks to the Lord and pray for them. Thank you, children, for becoming my mother. I adore my family and you all." Since the LPBW star claimed to have talked with Molly and Zach, it seems likely that they did so over the phone. And when she said, "a few grandkids," she most likely meant the kids of Jeremy and Jacob. What are your thoughts on Amy Roloff's startling admission that she believed she would never have children? Leave a comment below to let us know. No more today. What are you thinking about this gossip today? Let us know in the comments. And be sure to subscribe to Motion 25 because we have a feeling the story is far from over. We'll be tracking every development and we'll bring you the truth, no matter how difficult it is to hear.